She has like a secret flask that we don't know
I
about.
have some water right here.
That's good.
It's a good choice.
Yes,
hydration.
Indeed. I can even talk to the camera here like a real pro. Let's see here. Welcome back to Crafty Time.
With Mark and Fiona.
I'm here today with Fiona and my good friend Gabrielle, who I've known for many years.
Hello.
On Crafty Time. We always talk about making things. We're doing it on video today. We're having some champagne. Fiona, would you like some champagne, Fiona? Would you? Doesn't really work out. Anyway, that's okay. We're all having fun here.
Technology hasn't caught up to that yet, where you can have someone drink champagne through a screen, unfortunately.
That'd be a neat trick, though.
Yeah.
If you had planned ahead for just 2 more minutes, you could have had like a ginger ale or something, and we could have pulled that trick. And that would have been cool. So anyway, welcome to Crafty Time.
Thank you.
Now this podcast is all about making things, all about the creative juices and how they flow and how to make them flow, and
all that good stuff.
And I think we're kind of nominally attracting craft people, like arts and crafts, like construction paper people.
Nice.
But almost all of our podcasts so far have been with showbiz people.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you cross over both worlds, I think.
Okay.
Because you're such a good...
I'll take that.
Because you cook as well.
I like to cook. I like to entertain. The art of hosting. Got all of that from my mom. Yeah, I enjoy that.
How long have you been doing that?
Well, I started doing caterings and helping my mom out. My mom, for those of you that don't know, is a chef. Mm-hmm. And she was always the hostess with the mostest. And she used to do theme parties for me when I was little. Uh-huh. And so I think that it kind of budded from that. And then when I got a little older and was able to help her, then I learned a lot. Uh-huh. So I don't know, maybe around like 14 is when the cooking aspect started to actually happen.
Because when I first met you was at Christmas time. Mm-hmm. When you were your first Christmas in LA, second Christmas maybe in LA?
It was probably my second one.
You were only like 20, I think.
Yeah.
And because it's the weirdest thing. I'd gotten our friends on Facebook, and I couldn't remember why. And I kept seeing all these incredible photos you kept posting, and like hilarious Halloween costumes. All these, I'm like, who is this gorgeous girl? How do I know her? I got to put her in a video or something. So I wrote a note saying, "Who are you? Why do I know you?"
Yeah.
And it turns out that your godfather's boyfriend is one of my mom's best friends.
Classic story.
And and
such a typical Hollywood story.
Yeah, and when you moved to town, he said,
godfather's boyfriend connected us.
Of course. He said, well, you got to be sure to call Mark Gray when you come to town. So that's how we connected.
Yeah. And he's Michael Gray. So at first I thought there was an actual relation.
Right. But there
spelled the same way,
no,
too.
He's just, he went to school with my sister in Notre Dame, and they've got to be friends with my mom, and,
Yeah.
And he's, middle-aged gay guy who's the husband, so they got loads of money and no kids, so they're good people to know. And,
sure.
And he's a lovely guy. Anyway, but you've been here on your own, kind of making it as an actress.
Yeah, I've been here for a while.
How many years?
9.
9 years.
Yeah, I know. It's. I don't know if I'm happy about that or depressed about that.
Well, you should be proud of it, I think.
I know. I think that, just typically you want to be further along every year.
Yeah.
And while I have grown a lot since I've been here, when you think 9 years, you're like, well, I should have made it like on this scale by now, know. But I think that's just personal judgment.
Well, John Hamm was kicking around for like 20 years.
Yeah, I know.
Just working a little here and there. Mm-hmm. Doing okay, barely, like just scraping by, being a waiter and stuff. And then he got Mad Men.
Yeah.
Which was the part that was he was born to be.
Yeah. Don Draper.
And that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I remember reading an article about John Hamm, and it said that he was waiting until his 35th birthday or something like that. I don't remember the exact age, but he's like, if I don't hit it by then maybe I should just go back, because he was a drama teacher and do that. And I guess like the day after his birthday, he got Mad Men, so it was he had to wait an extra 24 hours past his end date. So I'm like, well, the day after my 28th birthday. Let's just put that into the atmosphere.
But the thing is, that's the whole myth of Hollywood, the Cinderella myth.
Oh, sure.
That there's this golden slipper, crossing metaphors here, but there's this magic thing you're going to get
This platinum trophy.
Like a switch that flips, that you're like a failure and now you're a success.
Yeah.
But it's not like that. It's like it's more like you're building a hill of beans, you know, and it never really amounts to a hill of beans, you know. Mm-hmm. But like you think, oh well, one of these days, if I could only get to Hollywood, then I'll be okay. If I could only get that agent, then I'll be well. If you only get that part, but you got to figure, even like somebody like Tom Cruise, he's like, well, if I could only win that second Oscar, then the 2 Oscar people, they're the really good ones.
If I could only be a Scientologist. No.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
if I could only
not that.
clear my thetans, then everything would be okay.
It's true, and I don't know if anything ever makes anything okay, because there's always another level. But
well, that's the thing, is you got to be satisfied with what you're
where
doing.
you are.
You got to be enjoying, not satisfied, maybe, but you got to be enjoying what you're doing.
My joke was always that I just wanted a different set of problems.
Oh, yeah.
So my current problems, all right, so trying to get a better agent, trying to, be in projects that get seen.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of things that just get seen by a room full of people, but not by a mass audience.
Yeah.
And, then I'm like, well, if I was more successful, then I would have to worry about, well, who are your real friends because you make so much money? I'd like that set of problems.
Oh, yeah. I don't know which of my friends I can trust because they all want my boat.
Which script should I choose? Well, the one that's coming from Spielberg, or should I choose the one coming? I just want a different set of problems.
If I leave the boat in the Hamptons,
how do you hide from the
winter,
paparazzi? And
yeah. Oh, no. Yeah.
George Clooney won't stop calling. It's inappropriate.
It's just I can't take his calls all the time. I have a life.
Oh, I know, right? That guy.
Fiona knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Fiona knows.
Yeah.
Fiona's got her own George Clooney's. Chasing her around. This is kind of a fun shot with Fiona and I here on the...
I know. I kind of don't know who to look at. I keep going back and forth. And I wait for you to say something and then see her reaction.
Of course. So, you live alone, and you don't have any... You're one of the only people I know who's under, 30 who doesn't have any roommates.
And I never have. Technically I've had 2 roommates. My mom growing up.
Okay.
And then an ex-boyfriend that I lived with for almost 5 years. But I should say he lived with me because he moved into my apartment. So I never had to make the full adjustment of merging into a home with a roommate.
That was really always just your apartment. I mean, it was everything on the wall was 100% you.
Yeah, pretty much. He brought in a few... he was a photographer, so he had a few prints that, we'd hang up. But, I didn't want Batman on my walls, and he was into that sort of thing. So I kind of let him take over the bedroom as far as, hanging stuff.
That was the domain.
Because I already had it all kind of fixed and laid out. But
your house, I remember, because you were 20 years old, and I come in, and she's got martini glasses with sugar rims and candy canes in them for Christmas.
Yeah, for the holidays, of course.
And you've got hot empanadas and incredible. And you're wearing like this perfect little velvet cocktail dress.
Yeah.
And everything's done up perfectly. I was just like, God dang it. How does she have her life together, so together at this age?
Oh, it just looks like that from the outside. No,
but I think that's true for everyone, though.
Right.
Even for Martha Stewart, it just looks like that. She's probably miserable and losing her shit on the inside, Right?
Yeah, somebody messed up the cocktail napkins and her eyes twitching and she's looking over. She's like, no.
She's like, that's the wrong fork!
They're going to judge me if they see that. I have to fix it now.
Then it buried behind the shed next to the endive.
Oh, nice use of endive.
Ah, yes. Well, you got to know what your endive. Yeah,
But of course.
Those Belgians, they're not for nothing. Remember, Jimmy Carter got in trouble once for recommending that farmers, instead of maybe raising corn, which is plenty of corn, maybe raise something else like endive, which is much more of a cash crop. And it was like, endive? Look at this hippie wants us to grow endive. Like it was this gay vegetable. Good corn farmers would never lower themselves. Like, how dare you suggest a French vegetable?
I have a friend who has kids that live in Carmel.
Yeah.
And, Carmel is beautiful and picturesque, but also a little far from reality.
Uh-huh.
And he said that he was at some sort of school function for one of his daughters, and one of the kids, they said, what's your favorite vegetable? And they go, Swiss chard.
Sunchoke.
Yes.
Oh, do you have any?
What are these chicken nuggets?
Chicken nugget?
Where is my poulet?
What's a chicken nugget?
Nugget.
I love chicken nuggets. Fiona was a big chicken nugget fan. She's still a big chicken nugget fan, aren't you? She likes a nugget.
Do you like the one that's shaped like a boot? That was my favorite when I was a kid. When you went to McDonald's, there was one chicken nugget that always had that boot shape. I mean, I don't really know if it's even really chicken, but I liked them.
Like, there was, like, different shapes.
There's different shapes.
But I would, like... I would always, and, like, still, if I go to McDonald's, would get, like, chicken nuggets and fries over, like, a burger.
Oh, yeah, me too. If I was going to McDonald's right after this, that's what I would get.
Chicken nuggets?
And, and the fries. I think the fries are the best.
They have top-notch fries.
Yeah.
In-N-Out,
no matter what you think of McDonald's, those, when they're nice and hot and salty fries.
Oh, yeah, they're very good.
And the smell.
They're good.
Yeah, that's true.
Have you tried Shake Shack yet?
I have not. Yeah, that's the reaction I was expecting.
I thought, it's this New York thing, big deal. I've had a lot of hamburgers. But it's really good.
Yeah.
And the fries are crinkly cut and crispy and lovely. And, oh, my God.
There's one on Hollywood Boulevard now. Is that the one that you went to here?
No, there's one in Westfield Century City Mall.
Oh, okay.
Right, because the whole rest of the mall is all shut. Because they're double-decking the whole mall or something. But the movie theater's there and the food court.
There's one just down the street from the Pantages now. Where they built that new apartment complex that's east on Hollywood right there?
Yeah, there's some.
And they have a Dunkin' Donuts there, too. They're really trying to go with that vibe. Shake Shack, Dunkin'.
Andy Dick has a gallery that he sort of owns around the back of that building.
Oh.
And a friend of mine keeps having events there. So I went there and got to meet Andy Dick. If you ever meet Andy Dick, I'd say you want to keep about 4 feet away from him.
Oh, I've met him.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Oh, I've met Andy Dick about 3 times.
Yeah.
And each time is exactly what you would think it would be.
Yeah.
You know, it's the cliche. He was, I feel bad saying it, but, he was drunk.
Yeah.
And flailing about and, hug me by just grabbing my boobs,
Oh, yeah.
that kind of thing. And he got kicked out of the Bronson Bar, where they do karaoke on Monday nights. He got kicked out. That was my first Andy Dick experience.
Oh, yeah.
So.
That was this party. It was like an event for YouTubers. We're supposed to be YouTubers telling this crowd about how YouTube works. And that was fine. He didn't show up. He was upstairs, and he kind of came down afterwards. We're all standing around, and there were just 5 or 6 sort of psychophantic friends of his hanging around, kind of enabling.
Yes.
And he's like, "You can't leave," because I was the only person around his age. So it's like he didn't want me to leave.
Yeah.
I sat there and just watched him try to molest people. It was pretty silly.
Yeah, I think that he also just feels the need to play this caricature of himself. I don't know how much of that's genuine or not, but that's kind of the vibe I get from him, that people expect him to be Andy Dick and it's this thing. And so I don't know how much of it is real and how much of it is him just playing himself.
Well, you can see him kind of hating himself for doing it, but he can't stop himself. He feels like he has to he does like the pussy grab. That's his move.
Yeah. I
know.
And the second time I met him was at the Playboy Mansion.
Oh.
And I also met Carrot Top and Ron Jeremy, because the Playboy Mansion only brings in the most elite.
That is a classy table right
that's
there.
A classy table, yeah. And I was surrounded by orange women with bad extensions, so I was like, why am I here?
You've been there a few times, though. I've seen you
Oh, yeah. That was my first time there, though, so it was kind of... it wasn't a really good first visit, just because it was such a cliche thing.
Yeah.
And I just, why am I here? And I wasn't sure if I wanted to go back, but my association with Playboy has actually been a positive thing.
Yeah.
So, it's not like that every time. That just happened to be a real special event.
Because I've always been a fan of the brand of Playboy. I've read it since I was a teenager.
Sure. They actually have good content, and I know that's like the ultimate joke. Like, I only read it for the articles, but they have good articles.
Well, you know what? They just ruined it last year because they took Naked Ladies out.
I know.
They're adding them back in as of this month, though, I heard.
Yeah.
They're bringing back the Naked
working.
Ladies.
Yeah, I've noticed that it was like last February, right? So it's been about a year. They kind of went for this kind of hipster vibe a little bit.
They went for this Instagram, kind of American Apparel.
Yeah,
vibe.
That's a perfect way of putting it.
Young
actually.
and gross.
And also, there's all kinds of women and there's a lot of different body types to appreciate. And I felt like they focused on one, which was very thin.
It was very wafy, which is not the Playboy way.
No. And it's fine if you want to feature a really beautiful thin girl, but then the next one maybe be a little buxom, and then stick to your classic blonde once in a while.
Yeah, sure,
and then just have variety in general, I think, is good.
Well, the thing, it's like people say, "Oh, you missed the naked ladies." So it's like, well, sure, but it was the one thing in the world that was really just for grown-ups.
Yeah.
And the writing and the articles and the little features and everything, they were written to someone grown up, and they were like that kind of perspective. It wasn't like FHM or Stuff, one of those lad mags,
Right.
which is all kind of bro-ish and about like frat houses and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
It was about like, I mean, I don't smoke cigars, but it was about like cigars and expensive watches and things that, and politics and
Sure. I mean, Playboy, almost had a little bit of like a Bond vibe,
Yeah.
if that kind
Totally.
of applies. But, and I understand that they felt the need for a change. I disagree with their choice, but because, yeah, sure, you can Google naked ladies now, and you don't have to hide the magazine under your bed anymore.
That's true.
And neither do teenage boys or girls. It's readily available to pretty much anybody, and increasingly so day by day. But
yeah.
I think just kind of it took away from the, it was an iconic thing, and then it changed, and
Yeah.
it didn't really make sense in that way.
Yeah, it was very frustrating.
I couldn't eloquently find a way to put that, but you
No, but I
get where I'm going.
I got one issue, and I was like, I hate everything about this issue. And I called them up and said, cancel my subscription, please.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
Yeah.
A lot of people did, from what I've read.
I'll give them another chance, though, if they,
Oh, sure. Bring back the naked ladies, Playboy.
I mean,
I'm a straight woman. I'm
Yeah.
asking you, bring back the tits.
So what was your association? Were you in the magazine, or were you...
No, I was actually a part of a failed project where before they made this transition, they wanted to do a magazine in a magazine online. So it was Playboy inside Playboy. So people that actually have subscriptions to the hard copy magazine or that log in online that pay for it would get this special
Supplements.
yeah.
All
And
right.
so they wanted to feature me as a centerfold in that.
Oh.
And this was at the same time, well, close enough, where Lindsay Lohan did that Marilyn Monroe looking.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And yeah, she looked great. But unfortunately, they had done something really similar with me, and the left wasn't really talking to the right. And so
boy.
I got pushed to the side, and so they didn't release the full centerfold spread. I just had some, lingerie images released by them, and that was it.
So that you're saying that somewhere out there is a Marilyn Monroe style Playboy centerfold bunch of stuff of you.
Yeah, yeah. It's all implied though.
Oh.
So they just did implied.
It's
with
all
me.
like PG
Yeah. So there's the perfectly placed.
little
Yeah,
drape.
or the glass of champagne is covering
Just the one nipple.
The one.
Yeah, the
that
forearms
kind of
are
thing.
just covered with boobs.
Exactly.
That's all right.
Which is fine with me because I mean I don't have a modesty issue with that,
Right.
and obviously Playboy isn't going to release like horrible, ugly photos
No,
of me. So
no.
I wish that they had been used the way they were originally meant to be used.
Yeah. Did you get them? Did you get to have them to show people or
I got to see them.
see them?
Yeah, I got to see them over. Playboy has has a studio area by Glendale.
Yeah.
That kind of their headquarters over there. I went in, and I mean I had done my first test shoot there, and that was
Was that
scary.
intense?
Oh yeah, I was nervous. I mean, I didn't really feel like I was. Let's see of a nice way to insult myself. Hot enough to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Just being honest, I think that my insecurities kind of were getting the best of me that day. But I was also so thrilled to have the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a cool thing. And I wasn't really sure whether or not it was a good career move. Some people told me it was a wonderful idea. And, hey, Charlize Theron even did it. And
Oh,
this
sure.
person did it. And, there's a really great list. But then the great list ended as far as not reality stars or people that have already done it many times, but as far as like having movie stars and women that have really great careers, that kind of didn't continue on into the most recent years, like the last 10.
Alison Brie is the last one I can think of.
Okay.
she
I
was
didn't
on-
know that she had done it.
She did one while she was doing Mad Men.
Okay.
And then I think she was doing Community at the same time.
Yeah. She's really cool. I like
fun,
her.
yeah.
Yeah, she's funny as hell.
Yeah. And so she didn't even notice. It didn't affect her career.
Yeah.
That's
See,
all.
well, which is good. Yeah, because I think it can go really negative.
I don't know. I feel like all these things, people are afraid of torpedoing them only if they let them be torpedoed. If they let that be the
Right.
focus. That's the last thing. Like if you're Gilligan, and that's the last thing you ever do, yeah, Gilligan is the thing that's going to bury you.
Right.
You know, but if you go on to do 10 other things, you know, then, I mean, Sean Connery exists after James Bond, you know, and Harrison Ford exists after. But it's tough for some. I don't know. Some things like Luke Skywalker, poor Mark Hamill's done. He's been like one other big part since then. He's the Joker.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's pretty happy.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a one-trick pony if you like the ride and it treats you well. But yeah, I mean, Carrie Fisher made fun of being Princess Leia for years, and she was many other things. But as far as being a
she
great
wrote books
writer
and
and
all kinds of
comic,
stuff.
oh yeah, I mean, she was fantastic. But
ended
she
up
would
being-
say, someone come up to her and go, "Princess Leia," and she'd go, "Yes," you know. So you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It just depends on what you want people to think of you.
Yeah. But that's the whole thing about you never make it. It's not like you're always developing. You're always progressing and evolving into the next thing. Like she became one of the biggest sort of uncredited rewrite people in Hollywood.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is kind of an exciting thing. Kind of fingers in, you know, present in the room where it happened for so many so many great things. But that's cool. So what are you working on now? You're working on a new movie you set up in Carmel.
Yeah, I am. Right now it's going by a working title where it probably will not be used, so I won't say it because I don't know what we're actually going to go with yet.
Okay.
But I actually met these guys when I was at the Carmel Film Festival back in October, and Alex and John are two of the nicest guys that I've met that make movies and have had some success with it and wanted to have me join them like immediately. It helped that they knew that I had been accepted by the Actors Studio and that I was SAG, and they liked that I had worked on independent work before. So all of those things were like off their checklist. But then when they knew that I was originally from that area, I was born in Monterey. Granted, I haven't lived there since I was really little, but I have family there, friends there. You know, it was just, all the stars just kind of aligned, and they said, well, we have this role that we think would be great for you. And what's great about it is it's just a really cool bombshell next door kind of thing.
Of course.
You know, she's not trying to do like, it's not a emulating Marilyn kind of thing, but she's kind of her own feisty, fun. She's very smart character. So I really like the zippy one-liners I get to say, and I get to kind of be a tease and walk out of the room, and you know. It's great because she's not just, oh yeah, you know, just a.
She's like a real person.
She's a real person. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. She's a real person, and she's smart and funny, and so I love that I get to play her.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, because I've been asked to play a lot of bombshelly things, which I think is a total compliment, but they don't always have much depth of yeah. I just have to like sit there and, you know, have a low-cut shirt
It's
on.
the object of desire.
Yeah, which is, like I said, a compliment, but the's
it's
not
nice-
much to it.
It's nice work if you can get it, but
Absolutely.
Still.
Maybe that's my one-trick pony, but
but I don't. You're very self-deprecating though. But I was, you know, that's who you are. You are the bombshell next door. That's how I've always thought of you.
thank you.
You know, except you're not exactly next door.
I'm not, yeah.
You're like way down in Hollywood.
Way down in Hollywood.
Have to go. You're next door to somebody though.
Yeah.
But-
Me and all the liberal elites were all just hanging out.
I know. Well, there's plenty of
Hollywood
us up here
together.
in the valley too. Thank God.
They're out in Van Nuys?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's an enclave of working class Mexicans up here like us.
Where are you, Fiona? What
I'm in Orange County.
Orange County area? That's right.
I should turn you vertical.
I knew you weren't far away, but I couldn't remember the area. All right, Orange County.
Yeah.
There we go. Can you still see?
Oh, look at that.
Yes. That
Yeah.
works.
Now it's actually like you're in the room.
She's in the room
Yeah.
where it happened.
Yeah, that's good.
It's pretty fancy. This is a pretty cool, sweet setup, you know. You see, this whole podcast is like my sneaky ploy to stay connected with Fiona when she goes to college next year.
Yeah.
So we can just carry on doing
Can you-
this and just stay
Can you
in
tilt the
touch.
iPad more towards, like, to the left, I think? Yeah.
Like that?
That's better.
Okay, cool.
There we go.
There you go.
I need like a little servo that you can remotely control. You know, that'd be amazing.
Where are you going to college, Fiona? Do you know?
I don't know yet, but I've like sent out all the applications, and now
Good
it's
for
like
you.
waiting till I hear back.
Do you
So,
have any like hopeful, like this is where I want to go, number 1 school, 2, 3 kind of thing, or it's probably best not to do that to yourself anyway. But
I want to go to the University of Edinburgh in Scotland.
oh, that's awesome. then
Yeah.
then you'll really need this technology.
I
She'll
know,
be
right?
so far away, but that would be fantastic.
But then she's also applied in San Francisco and some other places.
Yeah, yeah.
I like Ireland, a little slightly closer, right? Like 5 feet closer.
5 feet closer. Make it Ireland.
Like, I'd be happy with San Francisco, just so I could, like, you know, drive her up there. And,
Oh yeah, and it's a great city. I love San Francisco.
Yeah.
We're actually gonna be shooting up there a little bit too, which is fun. But everything has been so delayed because of this
Is that
year late El Nino.
It's like biblical rain we're having. Did you see the sinkholes?
Oh my gosh.
I know.
This car just goes bloop, end straight down, 2 cars deep, end to end in this hole.
Yeah, I've seen some of that on the news, and then I think that even when it didn't rain here much, people still lost their minds when it rained here.
Yeah.
You know, the 4
yeah.
times a year.
Like you don't know how to drive.
Yeah,
or walk.
it's not
like,
literally
no one owns
raining
boots.
cats and dogs. People, you can move.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like the rain. It's always kind of exciting and
Oh,
thrilling.
I like it too. I just don't like that it's delaying my work schedule. But other than that,
Yeah.
I'm all for the rain. We've needed it for a long time, so I'm happy
Yeah.
with it. But LA is just kind of feels like it's made out of marshmallows. You know, it
Yeah.
just can't handle it.
It is. It's made of sugar. It's been
Oh
in
yeah.
the sun for
all the gutters get
months.
clogged up.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's like we're living on a giant
None of
wedding
it
cake.
works.
It's just going to get washed away.
Yes. One of my neighbors, I saw her standing out front, and she goes, "I can't take this anymore."
I can't
She goes, "I moved to California to get away from this. What is this?" I don't even know where she's from originally, but apparently she's unhappy with not having the weather. And she's always been she's very tall and tan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that she's kind of an Abercrombie girl, where she's always, you know,
Oh, yeah.
out in her sandals, and she always has a preppy look, or she's in a bikini. You know, she's craving the sun.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, that's like another funny thing, like especially down here in Orange County, where it's like very close to the beach.
Yeah.
Like I go to school and like no one owns boots or raincoats.
Yeah.
Like everyone's just like running around in like sneakers, like holding a binder on top of their head. It's hilarious. Like no
Yeah.
one understands how rain works.
What is this falling from the sky? I can't handle it.
What's going
gosh.
on?
Well, I always thought it was funny, especially like my first year or two in LA, because even in, you know, Central California, where, you know, it's not like I'm dealing with snow and stuff that you do in the Midwest or the East Coast. But when it gets cold in LA, like under, you know, 75, people start like layering.
yeah.
Or you have someone at like 65, 60 degrees that is wearing like a snow coat.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, what's going on? What's
I love
wrong
wearing
with these people?
my cashmere overcoat. I love wearing that coat. If it's like 50, I'll wear it.
Yeah.
You know, or anywhere.
I think everyone just here is looking for an excuse to actually pull out winter wear. So
Well,
if
they
they
used to
have
wear-
any at all, they're thrilled
yeah.
to throw it on, even if it's really not that cold.
Well, you mentioned in the 30s they wore furs.
Yeah.
These movie premieres in Hollywood when it's like 60 degrees. It's like, God dang it, furs?
I have a full-length faux fur, but it's really nice quality coat. I mean, this coat was still about like $300, and it looks authentic, so authentic that people have flipped me off.
Oh, yeah?
For being like,
yeah.
you wear fur. Oh
He
my-
does like, how dare you?
How
and
dare
I'm
you.
like, no. I didn't feel the need. Granted, I still eat steak, so I won't tell them that.
Oh, sure.
But, you know, I'm completely aware of the fact that I'm a little bit of a hypocrite when it comes to how I
It's not
how I handle
hypocritical.
things.
You know, there's a lot. You don't have to draw every line. You don't have
No, right. Not everything's black and white.
to. Not anything, almost.
Yeah,
you know.
not anything. That's
Hardly anything.
True.
I don't have that big of a problem with fur, really. I just think it's, you know.
yeah.
I don't know why they don't use polar bear fur, because, I mean, that's got to be really warm, you know? Those guys, they stay warm. That's why I have this box. Says, I'm watching you on this monitor.
There's
watching
so
me on
many
this
monitors.
Got Fiona on this monitor.
I'm
here.
just gonna look at Fiona's.
Just look at Fiona.
It's
Just
just
look
like
at
a
me.
jungle of cords. It's crazy. There's too
I
much
keep
stuff
trying
in
to
that
like
room.
neaten it up and
I'm just
pare
gonna
it down.
stare at Fiona.
You know, but it's pretty good. It's not bad. It's you know, all those buzzy noises just come out of the headphone amp. Mm-hmm. So how do you like our podcasting studio? We've been dressing it up.
I know.
a little bit.
I've been tempted to start like looking at all your books and pictures and everything. I like it in here.
A lot of this is stuff from my mom's house that she's selling her house.
Mm-hmm.
So we took all the photos off her walls and all the pictures. And like these are paintings I did when I was in high school. This is a photo of Noah, Fiona's brother, when he was an infant.
Very cute.
You know, this is a selfie of me that I did, in 1989 probably. A filmed selfie.
I see Fiona, little.
That's little Fiona and Noah and I on a cruise ship there.
I see the Griffith Observatory.
That's
Who's in
that's my buddy Roy and Andrea. I was in film school with, and that was my black and white photography class. I shot that with my, Rolleiflex camera. And that's an autographed picture from Tia Satana from Faster Pussycat Kill Kill.
Awesome.
A film that, if you haven't seen,
This is quite the eclectic wall.
you should see immediately. Are you familiar with the work of Russ
everything.
Meyer?
No.
Oh, Faster Pussycat Kill Kill. Have you seen that?
I mean, I know of it, but I would never claim to know it.
I think you would like it.
Yeah.
Because they're very silly films.
Yeah.
And they're all about girls with big tits. That's pretty much what he was into.
Perfect.
Was that. And but like it's like so crazy. And then like over the top. Like these are three girls, they drive race cars in the desert.
Yeah.
And
It's all like a B movie vibe,
it's
right?
B minus.
B minus, yeah.
Maybe C.
Yeah.
And Fiona watched it. You saw Faster Pussycat, didn't you, Fiona? Didn't I show you that?
I watched some of it with you. I remember it being very silly and like
It's very
outlandish.
silly.
Yeah. I mean, I know that it's supposed to have a little bit of a slapstick vibe, and it, obviously it's all about, the hot chicks.
But
And
it's all like
ridiculousness.
brutal and salacious. And,
Yeah.
I mean, Faster Pussycat it's like PG basically. There's no actual skin in it.
Right.
But it's just so funny the way the women are all very powerful and strong and tough, and the men are all kind of like sniveling and weak and evil, and it's kind of great. But that's one. At college went through a big Russ Meyer, on a bender of Russ Meyer. I got to meet him one time before he died.
Really? That's cool.
And I don't know. I think you'd get a kick out of him.
Where was that?
At a film festival. They had like a screening. They had a bunch of screenings of his films he showed up for. And my friend Carolyn Townsend, she's a huge fan of Russ Meyer.
Yeah.
And she's also a buxom babe. So she kind of felt at home in that world,
Sure.
Yeah. But anyway, it's fun stuff. Not just talk about boobs all the time like a jerk.
Do you ever get sick of the boob talk, Fiona? Boys will be boys.
There's not really
All
that
of
much
them.
boob talk.
There's not that much
all
boob
told,
talk. It just happens when I'm around.
It's a picture on the wall. It's the picture. It's that picture on the wall. And as a consumer of pop culture and black and white photography, I thought maybe it had entered your.
But you gotta enjoy Noah's butt on the wall.
I know.
Yeah.
Little baby
I mean,
butt.
it's pretty impressive. Little
Yeah.
baby took us.
I know it's all clenched and everything. Yeah, he's very. It's like a Parker House roll.
Yes. What about the one above it?
That's a picture of me and Marcus Aurelius, who's an actor.
Yeah.
On a film called Apex. And that truck behind us is this weird, 3, 6, 9, 12-wheeled vehicle.
Yeah, I was checking out the background there. I mean, it almost looks like a safari kind of setup from down here.
It's the post-apocalypse. It's Kaiser Steel, which is the steel mill out in Fontana, where they shot Terminator 2 and Doll Man, all of these post-apocalypse films. Because it's this giant campus, this giant bunch of buildings and water towers and smokestacks, and they basically blew them all up for different things. So it's just rubble everywhere. It looks like a bombed-out city. And,
Perfect setup.
we roll in there, we shot this bombed-out city, and, for this apocalypse film, and there's this troop full of guys, and, God, I thought I was fat then, but I think I've really, I was in pretty good shape back then, looking back.
Stop it.
Handsome young devil in my jaunty hat.
You look so different without the glasses to me. I'm so used to seeing you with the bifocals.
Well, I don't have bifocals.
I know. No, but you have the rimmed.
Well, I have those. Those are for distance. These are for up close, and then
Yeah.
I have contacts recently. I got for
Really?
acting.
Uh-huh.
But,
Sure.
So for this distance, I don't need glasses at all. This is good.
Yeah.
but I might look weird now without glasses.
You don't look weird. I think it's just kind of a part of your persona a little bit.
Well, I have very. Now let's talk about me some more. I have very indistinct eyebrows. You know, they're kind of blonde. You can barely see them, and
I'm aware of what that feels like.
And,
I put makeup on mine because they're like white.
oh, you got that? Okay, they do that when I do commercials and stuff. But your glasses gives me this little bit more detail in my face.
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
But I think without glasses,
Glasses
I'm
are
actually slightly more attractive once you get used to once you get used to it.
Once you get used to it.
From a baseline level, I'm actually. So whenever I go to parties or something, I go
Glassless.
I go bare-eyed.
Glassesless.
Yeah.
Glassesless.
Go balls out. Eyeballs.
Eyeballs. Balls out. Eyeballs.
That's what it means, right?
That's great.
That's good. Balls
I like
out.
it.
That's the new name of the podcast. Balls out.
Balls out. Everyone, the name of the podcast is Balls Out.
So to digress, welcome back to Balls Out, where we talk about crafts and balls.
Eyeballs.
So we just had Valentine's Day. How was Valentine's Day for you?
I didn't really have much of one.
Yeah.
I was shooting up in Monterey, but I was done very early. The people in my cast went out with their significant others, and I went out by myself. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
So I decided to put on a nice dress and doll up, as I like to do, and I went and sat at a bar where there's some really good Oysters Rockefeller, and I had a martini, and I hung out, and then I had people feel bad for me and wonder what I was doing.
You were stood up?
I wasn't stood up. I did have a friend that I was going to try to meet up with, but he couldn't make it, so
Yeah.
sort of stood up, but he had a valid reason, and it wasn't like I was sitting in a dress waiting for him. I put on the dress after I knew I couldn't meet up with him, and still decided to celebrate.
Right, but everyone sort of thought you were sitting there.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that was the idea, because, you know, why would anybody want to just dress up and go out by themselves on Valentine's Day, you know? But I was like, you know what? I'm still allowed to kind of enjoy this ridiculousness, and I would probably do that on any other night, so why shouldn't I? Because it's, you know, a Tuesday.
Now, did you have any kind of...
Enjoy yourself.
Exactly.
Did you have any kind of vision of like where the night might go? Like we were spinning a fantasy scenario in your head?
No, not really. I mean, I guess if I had any hopes that, aside from just like eating a good meal and having a drink and going back to my hotel, which is what happened, maybe just having some good conversation with some other people. That was it. You know, maybe somehow wandering into a unique situation where I'm now being invited to a table or something.
Yeah.
just for, you know, adventure and for a good story or something. Occasionally I find myself in unique situations when I go out alone, and some of them good, some of them like, okay, I gotta run. But you know, I guess I was hoping that maybe I could find just someone to talk to for a little bit.
Yeah, I've like whenever I've hit the dating apps on Valentine's Day, like OkCupid or whatever, you get very quick responses.
Yeah,
people are just hair triggered and like ready to kind of standards lowered, you know, ready to leap.
Well, I do think there's this strange thing about the holiday where if you're alone, your people make you think you're supposed to be with someone else, excuse me, and therefore if you're not, you probably should stay in because you're eating a pint of ice cream and your sweat's crying. Or if you go out, you're looking for attention or a piece of ass. Why else would you do that to yourself? And to me, I was just like, no, I just know that I really want a nice cold martini and some oysters, and that sounds great to me, and what the hell? Maybe I'll talk to someone nice. That's it.
Well, that's... Whenever you're working on a film, when you're on location, you always want to go out and have a nice drink. And
Sure. And my cast ditched me, those bastards. No. They all have lovers and relationships, and I'm very happy for
they're
them.
all local, too, probably.
Yeah, most of them are. Some are visiting from out of town, but the ones that are visiting, it sounds like a vacation, are there from out of town, but they have their people with them.
That's
So,
nice.
Yeah, which is great. Sure.
Yeah.
It's nice to have the luxury of working and then having your partner or your
Oh, yeah, totally.
significant other, whatever you want to call it, with you.
What did I do? My ukulele night was Tuesday, so we was talk of not having it in case people had like Valentine's plans, but pretty much everybody was down to go and just play ukulele instead,
Yeah, yeah.
which was fantastic.
I think that's great. And in the past when I've been in a relationship or I've had plans, I've always been the person that kind of comes up with what we do.
Yeah.
And I kind of like doing this, stay in and, make a really nice like filet and lobster at home and pop some champagne.
Oh, champagne.
Yes.
What a great idea.
Oh, let me take a sip.
Ah.
And, kind of avoid the things that I think most people don't like about it, which are the crowds and the cliches and stuff. I mean, granted, I've done that too, but I
Sure.
think that Valentine's Day is whatever you want it to be, or at least it should be.
Yeah.
But even when I was in school, I remember when every kid was obligated to give a
You
Valentine.
have to give every kid a
Yeah,
Valentine.
and it'd be like those ones that you got from your supermarket where everyone just kind of like rips the little
you
edges.
punch them out.
And it has like a ninja turtle on it,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
it says "Cowabunga, Happy Valentine's Day" or something like that. And and I would always be the only kid in class that would make my own.
Yeah.
Everyone had like little candy hearts, and I was like full-size Snickers for everyone in here. I
Wow.
always was like trying to go real hard with it.
You bring the heat. That's
I bring
for
the
sure.
heat. I mean, I think one year I even made like my own little macaroons.
Wow.
And all the kids were like, what are macaroons?
What the heck is this?
Now I feel like the Swiss chard girl from Carmel. I'm like, no, they're macaroons.
I have a macaroon. Symbolize
Doesn't
love.
have a macaroon. And whenever like the boys would write anything on it, they'd only write their names to me. And then all the other girls would have like, can't wait to hang out, or come over Friday, or I called my mom to like, I want to do a play date or whatever it was. And mine would always just say like, Ed,
Ed.
or whatever. All the girls used to like a guy named Eli in class.
Yeah.
And I remember like everyone was like reading all the stuff that he would write, and mine just said Eli, and everyone's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, it's cool. I'm fine.
Because everyone thought Eli dissed you by not
Everyone
giving
thought, yeah. Well, he probably did. I mean, all the boys growing up always thought I was really weird because I was quiet. And when I would try to talk about, and I wasn't athletic, I tried to be, but I failed miserably at that. And then I think that, yeah, I mean, I would make like jokes that were just, a 40-year-old person would laugh at them, but not a 12-year-old or whatever,
Yeah.
a 10-year-old. So,
Kids are dumb.
dumb kids.
I remember in Mrs. Cox's class in 5th grade.
Mrs. Cox?
COX, Cox.
Yeah, but someone had to make fun of that.
It never
Sorry,
came up.
Mrs. Cox. Really?
Now that you mention it, I never thought of that before.
I'm a horrible person. It's the very first thing I thought of.
Cock. No, but I don't know. That wasn't a word we used back in the 5th grade,
Yeah. Well, see, 5th is kind of on the edge where, bad words become cool and that kind of thing, I think.
I remember when I was 5 years old, which is like kindergarten, sitting around in my garage with like 5 kids. We're literally sitting on little tricycles and stuff in a circle, and we're all just going, hell.
That's great.
Damn. We were like swearing, and someone goes, fuck, and everyone's like, whoa, and like everyone lost their mind.
No, that one kid took it too far.
Oh, yeah.
Was that you?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
Like, so it's like, oh, I'm going to tell, I'm
it
going
was
to tell.
me. I was that kid.
I remember that was the same year. I remember I punched somebody. I punched Heather Wainscott, who was also 5.
Heather Wainscott?
She's this girl. She was this real, I don't know, she's probably lovely now, but, she was this sort of bratty kid.
Yeah,
And
sure.
I like punched her I forget why.
Maybe a bossy girl.
She
that
had,
kind.
she had something, I don't know. She was like, I don't know, but I slugged her, impotently as a 5-year-old does,
Yeah.
And she was just like, oh, I'm going to tell your mom. Like, she didn't flinch, like it hurt. She just looked around. She just went straight and just told my mom that I punched her. I was like, God dang it.
What the hell,
That didn't work
Heather?
out at all like I expected.
No, he was flirting. No.
Maybe. I don't know.
I feel like
Was
little
I?
boys flirt that way, though. Where they always are kind of like the most mean or kind of pick on the girls
Well, I
that they
think
like.
They
That's
can't
always a thing.
manage their emotions. They don't know how to really express what they're feeling.
It's like,
They're like, punch.
yeah.
You know, because it's
Kind of like little mini cavemen.
like, ma,
Yes.
ma. I know that feeling. I feel like that all the time. Oh, boy. Do you have any childhood memories you'd like to remember, Fiona? Of childhood, or was it too recent? Nothing's flashed back yet.
Maybe of crafting.
Of crafting.
Oh, look at that. She's bringing it right back
she's
around.
so
She's a
on
true
point.
professional.
Making those little Valentines.
Fiona made me a nice birthday card this year that said Happy Father's Day, and then she crossed out Father's Day and wrote birthday.
That wasn't, I accidentally, well, like, I got like a tiny present and I wrapped it, and on the top of it, I was just gonna write, like, happy birthday or whatever, like, in Sharpie. But, like, in my brain, it's like, making a present for Dad. So the first, I'm just like, obviously it's for Father's Day, and it's January.
It's not
So
June
I,
yet.
like, write, and I write Happy Father's Day, and it looks real nice, and then I, like, step back and go, oh, shit. and then I text my brother a picture of it, and I'm like, what should I do? And he's like, and he laughed about it, and then was like, cross it out very, like, on purposely. Like, don't cover it up. Just, like, cross it out and write.
And just
like,
make fun
birthday.
of it. I agree
Yeah.
with Noah's decision. Because I think it's really...
I enjoyed it.
I get why you thought the way you did. You're like, this is for my father on his birthday. It's a Father's Day of birth.
Of birth.
But, you know, I get it.
I
get
cherish
No,
it. I'm like,
it was
one of my
just like,
favorite
there
cards.
is one holiday. It's Father's Day. I've made many
That's it.
other Father's Day cards that were misspelled.
Every
There's a good,
day
like,
is
Farter's Day
Farter's
card.
Day. That's my favorite because Farter's Day card.
For Thursday.
Happy Farter's Day. It's more
But you can
appropriate.
tell, like,
really.
I tried really hard on the card. Like, I, like, cut shapes out and stuff, but I just spelled it wrong.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's my favorite
That's
card.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
There's a piece of pie. I remember that card. I gave you like a piece of cardboard out of a shirt or something. It was like a really weird, nice piece of cardboard. It was white on one side and brown on the other. So I was like, oh, make something out of that. And she like made this gorgeous card.
Yeah. I know she's actually the most crafty one, I think, of the three of us, artistically speaking.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Her artwork. She's
Yeah.
got a painting of herself that she did recently.
occasionally I've seen pictures you've posted, and obviously, you know,
On
you have
Instagram.
some,
Yeah.
downstairs, which are great. But yeah, I wish I had that ability. I like to doodle, but I'm not able to actually like create faces or anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, if you try, it'll get all a little Picasso on you if you ask me to do that.
Well, faces are hard because everyone looks at them all the
Yeah.
time. So they judge them so harshly.
Especially if you're
So,
trying
like,
to
if
recreate a
one
face you
tiny
know.
thing- Yeah, if one tiny thing is off, like, you can immediately tell. Like, that's the thing
Yeah.
about, like, faces and people in general. Because, like, those proportions are just, like, ingrained in us. So we know what
Yeah.
they're supposed to look like. And especially if it's, like, a person that you know. Like,
Yeah.
you know if that looks wrong.
Right.
So-
Yeah, like if the nose is off, you know, I think
Yeah.
no matter how subtle it is, if it doesn't fit, then it's like that's not them. Yeah.
That's why computer graphics, like in Star Wars, of a real person's real face is really hard to do.
yeah.
Because, we're used to seeing it. We're just really, really scrupulous about that stuff.
Can you do it with your 3D printer?
No.
Stick your face in.
That's not how it works.
I know it's not how it works.
I have an app for that. Though.
There's
That's
an
not how
app
it
for
works.
that.
That's not how it works.
There's an app for everything.
There is.
Almost.
There's a nap for everything. Take a nap and everything works better.
Yeah, perfect.
After that.
I think that people that don't know much about 3D printers, they just kind of assume they can do anything and everything.
Oh, yeah.
I was actually having a conversation not too long ago, and they're like, yeah, if you could just like clone your face. I'm like, which is why I brought it up just now.
Clone your
I'm like,
face?
yeah, you can clone your face and like make a plastic version of it if you put like a picture of yourself in there. And
Wow.
I was
That
like,
is so not at all
I
what
said,
it
no, I
is.
don't think that's how it works.
I mean, you could. Okay, I've got an app for this, right?
Uh-huh.
Where you can you basically walk around somebody and you take 100 photos of them.
Yeah, so you
And it makes
try
a
to
little
do
3D
a full
model of them.
right.
Which then you could print that out maybe, but it won't look like it'll be all kind of mushy and strange, But that's like 1,000 steps. It's not like you just drop it in there and you get like a copy. Mm-hmm. It's not like Star Trek where it's a replicator,
Yeah,
where it's like a perfect copy just comes out. That'd be awesome, though.
that would be awesome.
The cool thing
We're
now
not
is
there
they
yet.
have these laser laser cutters. Mm-hmm. It's a thing called Flash Forge. And on the edge of the back of your phone, you stick your phone in there, and then the camera inside the thing shoots it, and then you can drag your art for holy jeez.
Oh, fuck.
That's fantastic. Oh wow! Here, you want the Kleenex?
Just asked me to do it.
This is why we have Kleenex on
He
set
just
here.
went way over the rim. I just looked at it like it was a cartoon.
In case of tears or spilled champagne.
As long as it doesn't ruin
The one
anything
always
important
causes
on
the
here.
other. No, everything's fine.
Right.
Everything's
Oh
fine.
my god. I love that I asked you to do it, and they're like, "You do it," and then I made the biggest.
No, I thought I wanted. I just wanted you to have it. I would have poured it. I just wanted you to have the first glass. I didn't.
No, I should be capable of pouring champagne. I promise I haven't had much,
all right.
folks.
We're almost out of champagne. We'll switch to whiskey in a minute. So
Yeah.
We need a new desk anyway.
I know this desk is the worst.
I'm glad that Fiona was entertained by that.
Yeah, that's
I feel
wonderful.
like it made it all worth it.
Yeah,
It was like right in the middle of like the shot that I'm seeing, so I was just like
Of your field of
watching
view?
that. It was so
So
fun.
you just saw the stream go.
Of swoosh.
like immediately,
Whoosh.
like half of the liquid just went out of the glass.
That was fantastic.
Well, that was ridiculous.
That's great.
For
Oh,
those
good.
that want to inquire, I'm just a klutz. So.
That's all right. That's what makes. See, it's just hot and clumsy. That's how you make someone relatable when they're sexy. Is you make them a little bit clumsy, and then they're
Well,
relatable.
I got that part down at least. So.
Check.
All right, I'm gonna back away and do this.
It's all right.
I would clink, but I feel like I'm gonna spill.
This is fun. If only the GoPro had worked. I guess I never could quite have every element charged. The GoPro, I think, the batteries were not.
Yeah, it's just like a lazy eye staring at
It's
me.
just there. It's
like,
off.
is
It's
it
dead.
on?
It's not on. But the good cameras are on though. So we have full coverage here of our 60-minute style exchange.
I posted on Twitter, I don't know, like a week ago. There was this male model casting that was being
Yeah.
done. Yeah, and so they had all of these like shirtless little hunky dudes that, they are all kind of like clones of each other.
Uh-huh.
And it was right next to an audition I was going into. And I didn't actually do this, but I wrote that like when I tried to flirt with them, because I'm so bad at winking, I look like Forrest Whitaker. I just had like one like half closed, half open eye. And when I actually try to wink, I've had people like, "Are you okay? Are you having a seizure? What's happening?" So I'm really bad at flirting. But I saw those guys, and I was like, if I tried to do this, they're going to ask me what's happening and what's wrong.
Yeah. Male models. You don't want to have those guys.
No, I really don't. No, I'm not I've never been a pretty boy like fan. When people are talking about, or I should not people, but girls.
Uh-huh.
Usually, a few gay men that I know, we're talking about like their celebrity crushes. Everyone's like, Chris Hemsworth, which, by the way, very handsome man and likable.
Thor, right?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
Thor, But I'm like, Paul Rudd.
I love Paul Rudd.
So I usually go kind of for the opposite direction of the
Like
stereotypical
charming, funny.
hunk. Yeah, right.
It's a charming cat. that
Yeah,
Paul Rudd.
he's charming. He'd make me laugh. I like the dark hair. I'm in.
Sure. I know Paul. I don't know him anymore. I think I shot one of the first things he ever worked on.
Really?
In Hollywood.
What was that?
It was a PSA about child molesting.
Fuck's sakes.
Anti-child molesting.
Like, here's how you do it.
I'm sorry. I just wasn't expecting that.
It's like, okay, child molesting. Here's how you do
I
it.
thought like, oh, it was this comedic webisode series or something.
No, it was a PSA about child molesting, and Paul
I'm upset that I asked. Okay, go ahead.
Paul played the. I'm going to move this over a little bit. Paul played the survivor of molestation in this foster family, right? This other kid, and I have a copy of it. It's called Jamie's Secret.
Oh.
That's my 1 degree of Kevin Bacon away from. And he was very young. And I was like, this guy's really good. He's a really good actor even then.
Yeah. I'm
And
sorry. The topic isn't funny. It's just funny right now.
it was hilarious. And it was produced by this Christian producer who was very Christian. Kept wanting to do all this Christian stuff.
Christian guy that was very
But it wasn't in the
Christian.
script. Like the Christian stuff wasn't in the script. And the director was Jewish. And Paul is Jewish. Everyone's Jewish. And he kept trying to get him to do all this Christian stuff about Jesus. and they just wouldn't do it, But I'm sure we shot one scene in a church where the kid's like looking up at the cross and thinking about being molested.
Yeah. How old was Paul then?
He would have been he was playing a teenager.
Yeah.
So he was
That's
probably
why I asked.
25.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Older playing younger.
But he had kind of floppy hair and it's like, hey, what's up, guys?
Sure.
And he was a cool guy, yeah.
Yeah.
And but then years later, I was teaching at Northwestern. We had our little faculty recital. We played all our faculty videos that we had made to show our work. Mm-hmm. And I remember that day I read in Entertainment Weekly. I read it to the whole crowd, and they had 30 by 30. It was all these 30-year-olds, including Paul Rudd, and they asked him all these 20 question kind of things. And one of them was, "What's the worst job you ever had in Hollywood?" And that's the job he described. Was the child molesting PSA. I'm like, that's the job I shot with Paul Rudd.
It's an honor.
We got on. I still have Polaroids of him actually somewhere hidden away.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that should go on the podcast wall.
Oh, it certainly should. I gotta bury those out somewhere.
I'll sign a headshot for you.
Oh, just like a dry cleaner. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Put you on our wall of fame.
I've thought about doing that, where I just get a bunch of headshots, sign them, and then put them in the. I can't believe I'm blanking on the name. The ice cream shop at the farmers market there on Fairfax. You know how they have soap opera actors and a few legit people, but I was like, there's so many people.
Would you sneak it in, or would you just offer it to them? Go, hi, would you like a headshot?
No. I would have to do it when the place is closed, but the bars are still open, and then just.
It needs to be black and white too.
Oh yeah, it has to be more of an old school one. No one does black and white anymore. That's
Pinks.
Good job. Yes.
Pinks used to have those all over the wall.
Yeah, Pinks.
And they were all just faded to almost clear.
Yeah.
It was like Red Fox, and it was all blurry and beige, nothing left, and all these 1970s headshots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe I'll even feather my hair and just take a new shot for it. You
should do period headshots.
I should do a period headshot and have someone with way better handwriting than mine, because it's so bad. If you tried to use cursive with the opposite hand that you use, so if you're right-handed, you use your left hand and then try to write my name in cursive, that's probably what
I think you should create
my actual handwriting looks like.
You should create an entire 70s, persona for yourself. And a bunch of movies you were in and a bunch of crazy stuff, and just start sticking that in places. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then it'd be great if you had the 70s Playboy centerfold. But, in the 70s. Yeah.
I'm not thinking ahead. Just put a black bar, make it look like
no.
Or do it with a Farrah Fawcett looking kind of feathered look.
Oh
the red swimsuit.
Well, the real difference, as someone who's been reading Playboy since the 70s, it's the pubic hair. You need the Photoshop.
I could wear a merkin.
You need a merkin. Maybe two merkins.
I'm not gonna grow a bush for this, but I will wear a merkin.
I wasn't suggesting.
No, I don't even know if I'm capable.
A long pubic hair growing regimen. I was thinking more of a Photoshop question.
Don't do anything for at least 5 years and see what you get.
Okay, 5 years. Eat a lot of Jell-O. What causes hair to grow? I don't know.
Jell-O. Yeah, Jell-O's the ticket.
Well, Jell-O's...
Fiona's like, what?
Well, Jell-O's made of horse hoofs, keratin, which is the same thing that hair and nails are.
All right. Well, actually, then that might be a applicable thing, as strange as it sounds.
Yeah.
I don't think that's how it works.
No.
It isn't, but, it's... I'm not hearing any better ideas, guys.
No. Otherwise, bald men would be putting Jell-O.
How else are we going to get this pubic hair to grow faster? Guys, come on.
No.
All right.
Thanks.
All right, plan B. We'll think of something else.
Yeah. I'll just buy a merkin.
Okay. I was thinking Photoshop's probably good enough, really.
Yeah, probably. But I think a merkin would be hilarious.
I'm surprised you don't have a selection of merkins.
Just buy a fro wig and put it underneath a G-string.
Yeah, exactly. Then you get
go to Party City.
Yeah.
For different occasions.
Go to Party City. Buy the racially ambiguous fro.
Yeah.
And then totally.
Like a little triangle, and they have merkin hangers in your closet, in your merkin section of your closet.
Yeah.
All
merkin section of my closet. I'll just go to the merkin section of my closet and see what I find.
Next to the muumuus and the mini skirts and a muumuu and a merkin. That's all you need for a good Halloween.
See, the thing you never know about podcasts, you never know when you're going to hit the merkin section of the
We've talked about merkins with everybody so far, haven't we? At some point.
I mean, I don't even. How does it have the name Merkin? Do you know what that comes from? Was there an actual brand name?
It's probably some guy
Richard
named Merkin.
S. Merkin named it that.
Who thought of it? Well, it was invented
Yeah,
because of
let's check
syphilis, because your hair falls out when you have syphilis. And how do you get syphilis? By being a prostitute. And the way you should have a little, wig over your...
So it was healthier to like.
I would
not
think
have
that would be
pubic
the
hair.
only pro of syphilis is to not have to get lasered.
Well, you'd also die from it,
Oh, sure.
And you go
Sure,
blind
but
and
then you don't have to shave. So,
insane.
you got to figure out what your silver lining
So
is.
a couple of good months there of not... Yeah, oh boy.
You got a couple of months where you don't have to worry about shaving. It's fantastic. Or
Okay.
waxing.
Yeah.
Or doing laser treatments. So, between those three things,
Boy.
there's your silver lining too.
You're like the Kellyanne Conway of syphilis.
Ew, please don't compare me to her in any way.
I think Kellyanne Conway may be the Kellyanne Conway of syphilis.
Yeah, she might be.
Make anything sound better.
Well, the hair on her head looks dead, so.
Does it?
Well, I think that she's probably just over-dyed it,
Her whole.
and that's why it looks
she looks
so...
dead, like as a person.
Yeah.
She's a
She
husk.
just looks like she's dead already. Like under her eyes and her neck.
I think
like,
she's just been worn
Yeah.
out by this entire process, and she just can't. And I don't know who could, honestly, but to have to keep up with this
To keep
constant,
lying so
yeah, this constant thing.
like your soul. I mean, I don't know if I believe in a soul really, but she's evidence of what the lack of one looks like.
Have you seen Kate McKinnon's portrayal of her?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I love how she just kind of goes into this dead zone with her voice.
But it's like I've met people in person who are on television and they're like look gorgeous on television. You see them in person, they look like much older, and
Yeah,
and you see the makeup and they look really old, especially women.
You're right.
But like that's how
especially
she looks
women. Yay!
on. Well, no,
No,
but,
it's okay. It's-
You look gorgeous, and I'm right here.
Like, what is she
Yeah,
look
well,
like
but
in real
makeup
life?
is a saver. It really is.
Makeup works. But what I'm saying is, if that's how she looks on television, how must she look without lighting and makeup?
She probably looks a little methy.
Boy,
I'm being nice by saying a little.
a little methy.
A little methy. Well, she has that kind of physical appearance on TV anyway. And, I'm not one to go and strike someone down for their appearance, but, I mean, you can tell how worn out she is. And it's easier to strike her down for appearance when I just disagree with absolutely everything that comes out of her mouth, so then I'm allowed to go there and be mean. But, yeah, I just can't. And when it comes to politics in general and everything that's happened this last year, it's just a bit overwhelming.
Oh God, yeah.
And that's putting it lightly and nicely without like delving in. But
Oh, yeah.
I'm not able.
No, I know.
At a certain point, you can only say so much, and then you just kind of go, well, what?
It's kind of it's the don't get me started is how I always feel about it, because I have so much to say and so
Right.
much fury and angst about like everything
Sure.
since November and since January especially.
Well, yeah.
That like there's just no starting because there's too many things.
I agree with you. I do have one little story I'll tell you.
Okay.
So not this last September, but September of the 2015. 15? Yes. Yeah. Okay. So September of 2015, my mom and I went to Vegas to see Santana for her birthday.
Awesome.
And it was at the House of Blues in Mandalay Bay. And when we were standing in line, and granted we had some decent tickets, but we were asked if we wanted to upgrade to a table that we would have to share with two people we didn't know, which is fine. And then we'd be at the very front before you kind of get to like the mosh pit area.
Right.
And it's lifted and you can see everything.
Yeah, the banquettes. Those are the best.
And so, right. And we said, well, we were just fresh on to Vegas. We hadn't spent a dime yet, so we were spendy, and we said, yeah, what the hell, why not? We had just gotten off
Go
a
for
flight,
it.
taken a taxi. I changed in the Mandalay Bay bathroom,
Nice.
to get ready for the concert. There wasn't even time to go and check into our hotel. Straight there. All right, we deserve this. So we immediately threw out the extra $100 a person. And took the seats. The two people that ended up getting sat next to my mom and I was a man and his daughter from Mexico City.
Uh-huh.
Successful Mexican businessman. And his daughter was very sweet, kind of shy, a little like a sheepish personality, but very kind. And they were sitting there, and she was really excited to listen to the guitars and stuff. And this was kind of like the first major concert she'd been to with her father. And he was nice. He talked to my mom, bought us drinks, was really, well, the show got delayed a little bit, as, you know, it should with all major rock stars.
Of course.
And then it did turn political, and he, you know, this was before, you know, Trump was chosen, or Hillary. You know, Bernie was still in the mix, Ted Cruz, you know, Marco Rubio, all of these people were still up. And he said, well, if Trump becomes president, I don't think I'll ever come back here. And I remember my mom and I saying, like, oh, no. That won't happen.
Don't be ridiculous. That could never happen.
And it was like, that will never happen, you know. And granted, I know many people have thought that, but that moment, because he looked at us, he goes, I don't care even if a conservative is in. He's like, I don't vote here. I'm not a part of it. But I have family here. I do business here. I fly here, you know, 4 times a year. I have relatives that live here. And, you know, he just was baffled that he could even be a consideration. And we said, no, this is like a weird, like, reality TV thing. It's not going to last. Like, this is just a spectacle. And, you know, even if a Republican is chosen, which is, you know, okay. I mean, because anything seemed better than the alternative of Trump. And then, you know, I remember, because it wasn't that long ago, when the night of the election, my mom actually came to LA to spend that night with me. And we went out to Rayo's. We had a nice dinner. We watched the news, and we kept watching the news and going, this is starting to get a little uncomfortable, because everyone thought it was going to be such a sweep by Hillary. And granted, I realized Hillary was not exactly I mean, they were considered 2 of the most disliked candidates. Yeah. But I started thinking more of that guy, and I went, man, are we gonna have to eat our words on that? You know, it almost, you know, not that it was bad karma or anything. It wasn't my fault, but you know, it just became this surreal thing where this person that I never really thought was going to become president became our president. And I woke up the next morning and I looked at my phone and I just typed in, you know, presidential race, and then it said projected winner Donald Trump, and I just went, holy hell, this actually happened. I know. This actually, and I realized that, you know, I'm stating what a lot of people feel, but you know, it just, you know, I can still kind of get goosebumps a little bit thinking about it.
Yeah. No, I know.
Until it happened, it didn't seem possible.
No. I mean, he was just such a spectacle, and he said so many things that I thought the majority can't agree with this.
Yeah, who could? No, but it's... But the problem was that, you know, Hillary, everyone hated her so much.
I know.
I mean, I didn't love her, but, like, I like her as a proud president. But, like, I didn't want her to run in the first place. I thought, well, everyone hates her. This is going to be a problem. Everyone hates her. Yeah. And then turns out, surprise, everyone hates her. And still, I talk to people.
Like, if Joe Biden had ran or something, like...
If a ham sandwich had run, you know, it'd be more appealing than would... and one did, and it won. That's the thing.
Yeah. One did, and it won. The ham sandwich was...
Pineapple on top.
I mean, I didn't have the... obviously, I had concerns because I want to be an aware person and pay attention to both of my candidates and not just always, granted, this was an easy choice, but, you know, I've always wanted to be someone that doesn't just vote for my party because of my party. I mean, if I have to vote independent or do something that I think makes more sense, I will. Sure. But at the same time, there's this kind of strange thing where you also don't want to throw your vote away. And you want to be a part of the process, but it was obviously very easy for me to vote for Hillary.
Oh, very easy.
Extremely easy. And when people go, I'm not sure, I'm like, what do you mean you're not sure?
But I tell people all the time, well, you think Hillary would be any better? I'm like, yes, she'd be 1,000 times better.
She'd be 1,000 times better.
If she just did everything like Obama did, or worse than Obama, I think Ted Cruz would be better, and he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, Jeb Bush.
And she's, like, actually a politician and understands how the government works.
I mean,
Like, even if
Mike
like
Pence.
Congress stopped everything she did, it'd be better.
I also think all politicians. I feel bad saying all. I should. It's not that I feel bad, but I don't like always making a generic statement that kind of covers
I
everybody.
never make generic statements.
But most politicians are corrupt, and anyone that has been in that line of work their entire lives, I think, have chips on their shoulders and things to hide. So the fact that she has that doesn't really surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, she's got.
But I don't think that meant that she wasn't.
But it doesn't
better
even
choice
matter.
tenfold.
Like the facts don't matter, the truth doesn't matter, reality doesn't
No,
matter.
none of it matters.
It's just how people feel,
Right.
and people feel like she's some mean old lady who says you can't talk in the library, or says you can't have a big car, or whatever the thing. They imagine this old lady tells them that she can't have.
Right, and they think she's a baby killer and a this
Yeah,
and
they
a
think she's a
that.
baby.
And
They think she killed some baby, or she laughed about defending some rapist or something. Some made up half-baked story.
right.
That,
Except you have Trump on on tape doing things like
but
that, and it doesn't matter.
because they feel like, oh, he's like my dad. He's like this jolly old dude.
Yeah,
oh,
he's gonna
he's
save
dirty,
the coal
but
miners
he's gonna,
and right.
But
He's a real American.
He was lying with every word he said, but he still told all the coal miners that he was gonna help them.
Well, sure. I mean,
Hillary
he
went and
talks about
said-
draining the swamp. He is a swamp.
He is a swamp. I mean, he lied with all of it, but at least he said it. He went to those people and said, I'm not trying to defend him. I'm trying to say why they got him.
Yeah, of course.
Is that he said, I'll bring all the jobs back for you. I'll do it. They don't care. I care. I understand you. He doesn't, and he won't, and he can't.
No, he's
But
no. I mean, and it's not just the silver spoon in his mouth, but he hasn't actually lived or gone out and tried to live or touch base with people in a normal way. I mean, he's gone out and thrown parades for himself and then told everyone what they wanted to hear. And they're like, oh, he's connecting with the average American. But he's still throwing a parade for himself when he does that. I mean, he's not, he has his pressed jeans on and, he goes back to Trump Tower and they go, well, he's the everyman. No, he's not. He was, they talk about like, oh, well, he only got $14 million from his father.
yeah. Small one of $100 million.
Yeah.
It's like, no, his father left him all of his money.
Right.
Oh, God. And let's not get too
It-
far down this
No,
political.
I know. It's such a rabbit hole once you start talking about it. But,
Yeah.
I'll just finish it off with it. I have family members that are Republicans. I have family members that are liberal. I really came from a world where it was split and I could make my own decisions. And so I'm happy to say that I make up my own mind.
Good for you.
So at least there's that.
Why don't you the president?
Yay.
I'd vote for you.
I don't think I would ever want that job. But
It would suck.
But I would happily take it at least for a few months right now.
I'll-
Let's just get us
I'll
started.
do it. If they need me, I'll do
Right?
it.
You want
But
me in? You want me in? All right, I'll figure it out.
I can do it as well as that numbnuts. He's clearly not doing all the hard parts.
Right.
Anyway,
Anyway, I know.
maybe we should wrap this up. We've been talking for an hour or so to Gabrielle here. We're going to close out with a special questionnaire
Dun, dun, dun.
that we've stolen from the thingy from.
Bernard Pivot.
Okay, I'll say
It sounds good
from
when you
the
say
Actor Studio who stole it from Bernard Pivot.
Yes, exactly.
Bernard Pivot,
Yes, the Actors Studio.
which I've got. You emailed it to me again today on my phone here. So
Yeah.
I actually did this on because YouTube stole this also. They did a thing called Wait What was the name of this whole series.
Really?
Wait what? And
Wait,
they would
what?
ask all these YouTubers. They'd have and throw a slide into each of these
And ask the
questions.
same questionnaire?
And have like three. Yeah, it was almost exactly the same questionnaire.
Okay. Well, I've been hearing this questionnaire, asked on the Actors Studio with James Lipton and stuff for years, and I've always had ideas of what I wanted to respond with, but at the same time, when I knew that you were going to ask me, I didn't want to come in overly prepared and be like, well, this is why I think this and this and this. So I've tried to disprepare myself.
Oh, that's good.
Because
I remember I saw it when Gina Davis was on the Actors Studio. I remember seeing her. And she goes, well, I've seen your show before, and I'm not going to pretend like I haven't planned all these questions out.
Yeah, well, it's true. I mean, I think there's only one that I've kind of always known. The rest of them are kind of change day by day as it is anyway.
All right. Well, let's get right to it here.
Okay.
And Fiona can answer these too, Fiona.
Oh, yeah. Let us
All
know.
right, Gabrielle, what is your favorite word?
Okay. So I do know that the number one actor studio response to this is love, but I've chosen a different version of love because I think love is always a fantastic word. I mean, why wouldn't it be? It's what we all want. I think it's human nature to crave it in all kinds of ways. But it's a Portuguese word that kind of adds to what love means. It's not pretty in the way it sounds, but it's called saudade. And the reason I like it more than the Americanized word, even though we're pretty much talking about the same thing, is it has to do with even when you meet somebody and you fall in love with them, you feel like you've always known them. So there's nostalgia there. Mm-hmm. And it has to do with longing and feeling, but at the same time that you've always known somebody.
Okay.
With your heart. So I like that it's love, but it's its own poetic version of it.
Okay, what's the word again?
Saudade.
Saudade. Fiona, what's yours?
I like the word tenacity because it's like a nice way of saying stubbornness.
It's a good one.
And then also, I think it's just a pretty sounding word.
It is.
I like tenacity. Tenacity is great. So saudade doesn't have a great sound to it. I just like the meaning. But tenacity sounds good. So
Yeah.
I back you up on that.
I'm going to say pancakes.
So it has good meaning and good sound.
Pancakes. Just a word.
Pancakes.
Okay.
I
Question
like it.
2. Mm-hmm. What's your least favorite word?
Trump.
Oh. Enough said. Fiona?
Fake news.
Ooh. Mine is a phrase. I was told. Like on it's like the way on movie sets, people say, "Well, you go, why isn't this?" And you go, people go, "Well, I was told they weren't shooting this until someone." Well, I was told because
like
it's a
that
way
either.
of giving of like not taking responsibility.
Yeah, it's not my fault. Is what
You
it
should
sounds
say,
like.
"I thought this," or Steve said this.
Yeah, or even like,
You said this.
I'm sorry, I assumed this.
Yeah, but you
Worst
say,
case
I was
scenario.
told. It's
I
the
was
passive
told.
voice that annoys me.
Yeah, it's not my fault. It's pretty much what that is.
I was told.
Yeah.
All right, Gabrielle, what turns you on?
Ooh. I mean, the most obvious things that I think come to mind are intelligence, sense of humor, passion, but I think the thing that I find that becomes a rarity amongst people that is not only sexy but romantic is thoughtfulness. So my dog passed away. Someone sent me a card. You remembered when my audition was. Maybe you didn't have the time or money to pick me up a bunch of roses, but you showed up with a daisy because you picked it on your way to see me. I think remembering the little things or thinking about the little things, you don't have to be rich. You don't have to have time. It requires so little, but it's so rare for someone to think about you in that way. And I think that's really sexy. And then that leads to other sexy stuff.
Ooh la la.
Yeah.
Thoughtfulness.
So simple.
Fiona, what turns you on?
Same. I agree. Everything she said. That's
See,
great.
guys, if you're trying to figure it out, women aren't as complex as you want to make them out to be. Just give a shit and don't fake it.
Ooh.
There you go.
Yeah, just
Boom.
be nice.
This is good stuff. Boy.
Yeah.
What's my answer? I don't have one. What turns me on?
Well, I mean, and when you think about being turned on, it's such a vast thing because, there's a lot of different things that can turn you on as far as like creativity or, things that make you happy. But then, when you think about being turned on in a romantic way or sexual way, that's its own beast too. But I think thoughtfulness is always just like, that works for
Because
everybody.
thoughtfulness seems to answer both questions.
It does. It
So-
does. And it gets you there.
Okay.
All right.
All right. What turns you off?
Ignorance, bigotry, sexism.
I'm sorry, you only get one.
Oh yeah, all that stuff.
Those could all fit the same thing, though.
Sure, I'll just go with ignorance then, because that's a generic thing that works for all of it.
Okay.
Or like arrogance,
Arrogance is bad too.
because it's kind of like you think you know what you're talking about and you don't.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Arrogance, ignorance.
What's your favorite curse word?
Clusterfuck.
Clusterfuck.
Yeah, because my favorite curse word is pretty much fuck, but I like clusterfuck a little bit better because it describes a situation. You go, this is a clusterfuck.
Ah.
You immediately know, so it's a little more descriptive and precise.
Right. Fiona?
There's a lot that are fun.
Sure.
Like, yeah.
What one do you like yelling in the car? That's
Fuck,
always a good
of course,
choice.
is always good.
What is?
Oh, yeah. Like when you're like driving, and I just like all of them together. Like, I think when you add them to each other, they like
Just connect
get funnier.
Like
Like
them
how
into
Popeye
one.
swears? Like exclamation points, asterisks,
You son of
at sign,
a...
Like how Popeye swears.
Yeah, but bad.
Yeah. Like if I'm like swearing at, like if I'm driving and like swearing at people around me that are being annoying, like then I'll just use like all of the words like together and at once.
Yeah.
Horseshit. That's mine.
Horseshit's great.
That's a bunch of horseshit.
That's a classic.
My dad says, "What is all this happy horseshit?"
I support your decision.
Always
That's a
like
good
that.
one.
All right.
Hogwash.
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 Horse feathers.
I don't know if I consider hogwash a curse word, but yeah, I like that
No.
one too.
Hogwash. Use the H word.
Just yeah.
All right, Gabrielle. What sound or noise do you love?
When you love somebody and you're laying on their chest and you can hear their heartbeat.
Oh,
I know,
Oh, that's so cute.
but
That's nice.
I mean, everyone has one. Every living person has one. Every living thing has. Well, almost every living thing has one. But yeah, I think that when you actually really care about somebody and you hear it, and then you're like, oh, mine beats for yours beats for me, that kind of thing. I think there's something really lovely there and personal, because then if you're close enough to someone to listen to their heartbeat, then there you go.
wow. Okay. Fiona, do you have a sound?
On a lighter note, I like the pool that's like adjacent to our house or like
Yeah.
connected with like the townhouses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry,
There's
I went
like
kind
this
of
tree
deep.
that drops these like nuts
Oh yeah.
that are like kind of like the size of a quarter.
Yeah,
And if you drop them into the pool, they make this great like
bloop.
plunk,
Yeah, a
sound,
plunk sound.
that's just like so like great. I like that sound.
Plunk. They fall
It
off the
goes like
palm trees.
plunk.
Yeah.
Water effect sounds are good
Like-
too. Yeah, I dig that.
Plunk.
Or like the ocean waves, that kind of came to mind too, but I chose the other one.
Tingle of ice in a highball.
That's nice.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's nice. Sound to,
I got way too deep. Sorry, guys.
yours is good. You win the Actor Studio so far. What sound or noise do you hate?
Angry people yelling, like if they're yelling at each other or somebody else, but just like angry people yelling in a generic sense.
Fiona?
The sound your car makes when you haven't buckled your seatbelt yet, and it's just like beep, 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 and it's like, come on, like I'm getting like,
You're like, I'm just
Give
trying
me
to
a
back
minute.
up.
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm vacuuming. I hate the sound of vacuuming.
that doesn't bother me.
It's
as
just,
much.
it's always someone. It reminds me when I was a child. I'd be watching TV, and my mom would come vacuuming, and it would make the TV go all staticky.
Yeah,
This
kind
is
of like,
pre-cable, you know.
right? There's a
And
little bit of like a white noise kind of
It's
vibe
this
to
piercing
it.
high. And here, when I'm here, my cleaning lady's here on Tuesdays, and she starts vacuuming. I'm like, I have to flee the house.
Yeah, you're like a cat.
I have to flee the scene. I can't stand it. Okay, Gabrielle, what profession other than yours would you like to attempt?
Whatever you call Anthony Bourdain's job.
Ah,
I would like to write.
travel show host?
Yeah, I'd like to write books and eat and drink all around the world and have it documented and just be myself. I think that sounds fantastic.
Yeah. Sounds
Yeah.
awesome.
I'd like to host. I don't think his show's called No Reservations anymore. What's the new one that's on CNN?
Cook's Tour was the first one.
No
Then
reservation.
no
Yeah,
reservations.
No Reservations was my favorite. But
That's called Parts Unknown.
Parts Unknown. That's right, and I like that too.
Can you answer this, Fiona? You don't actually have a profession. You're
What
a
was the
student.
question? I didn't
What
hear.
profession other than your own would you like to attempt? I mean, you could do them all, though, since you're a kid.
I
you know.
wanna. Oh, what I want to do is like, you know how like in museums and like art museums, there's like the gift shop, and how like all those objects like relate to the like stuff in the museum. I want to be the person that buys all the stuff for the gift shop, like travels around and goes to places and buys the stuff that's gonna be like in the Met gift shop. That's what I
You
want.
can find some art objects like
one
toys
of the
and
many
gadgets
like silly jobs I want.
that are
And the
just
Met gift
interesting
shop
enough.
is the best, by the way.
And like pretty scarves and jewelry, stuff like that.
That's nice.
That would be fun. I dig that.
I would like to write all of the slogans on the T-shirts at Forever 21. That's the job I want.
It's real difficult. Really difficult. How much do you get paid to do
my
that, I
God.
wonder?
They're
I don't
so
probably like
funny.
$1 a word or something. It's not much.
It's probably, yeah.
Or nothing. I don't know. If I don't pay by the word, they'd have more words on them. It's just like clumsy,
Clumsy
sleepy, coffee,
coffee. But first,
no talk, coffee. All right. What profession would you not like to do?
anything in a cubicle.
Anything in a cubicle?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, when I think about just kind of the mundane fluorescent lighting, 9 to 5, going in, sitting somewhere, the monotonous work of it, I really think I'd rather do. I mean, I realize it's worse professions, but it's just immediately what comes to mind is being like miserable for me, because I think that I crave something so drastically different that would be hard for me.
Okay, Fiona.
I don't want to be a children's art teacher. Like, I don't want to look at children's bad art and
pretend
have to
it's
tell them
good.
that it's good. Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Good job, honey.
If I was a school teacher and art is on the side, but if you're supposed to be training this kid how to do art, but you have to be supportive, but also tell them that it's bad, I don't want to do that.
Wow. Okay, good choice.
Yeah, that's a really good choice.
I don't want to be someone who has to inseminate cattle.
Yeah,
I've seen it done up close.
That's really bad.
It's a shoulder
Animal
deep
husbandry?
proposition. Animal husbandry. No thanks.
That's not your thing? No,
And I've seen it. I filmed it
husbandry?
up close. It's intense.
Yeah.
Between that and the cubicle. I mean, the cubicle, you could talk to Marge, and the next cubicle, you can go get a cup of coffee that says "World's Greatest Dad." You can,
Sure.
you can wear a tie with a short sleeve shirt. Come on, there's a lot of pluses there.
Sure.
All right.
Well, okay.
And you get to think how much you enjoy the weekend. Then Okay, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Let me explain. Yeah, I think that would be a good start. Maybe paired with I saw how hard you tried.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
It's like, look, I'm so sorry. Let me explain.
Look, yeah. I'm so sorry. Let me explain. I can't, because I think all of us, whether you're religious or not, or believe in God or not, we want answers.
Yeah.
And so let me explain would be a great start.
Okay. What do you think, Fiona? What do you want to hear God tell you in heaven?
I just went for funny first, and I felt like sup dude would be good,
Sup,
or
dude?
how you doing? Just a good conversation starter of a normal how you doing?
What up, bro?
How was your day? And then I'd be,
Yeah.
and I'd be like, well, I died, but I
Other than that,
didn't think
everything's
you were
cool.
real.
So
So
thanks for that.
Yeah.
I have no answer for that. I
Yeah.
don't want God to say anything. To say, this, you were right about everything. I don't know.
You're right about
Or you were
everything.
wrong about everything. Which one is better? Which one would you rather hear? Here's everything you didn't know. Wow.
Well, you can't do anything
But
with everything you don't know.
what's the point?
So, yeah. Yeah, I think that's part of
if
the
you
reason
were
I
a
thought
ghost,
of
what
I
building
saw that you tried.
would you want to haunt?
If you were a ghost, what building would you want to haunt?
You were always my favorite. That's like
Yeah, you were.
you were the best one.
Maybe
Your mom
just
was right.
a slow clap.
It's like shakes his head and goes, dude, come on. Yeah.
I don't agree with everything you did, but man, well done.
Happy hour is 12 to 12.
Or on a sentimental note, just hey, your whole crew's up here. Come on in. Bar's open. You
You mean they all died in that bus crash?
Well, everybody in my family is older than me, so I'm to assume if if I live like a normal lifespan or
Yeah.
whatever, that I'd have a lot of, I already do, so
Yeah.
I'd have a lot of people up there. So if heaven exists, I'd like to think that I got to hang out with everybody again. I think that'd be wonderful.
So who from history do you want to hang out? Because there's always that fantasy. You go and meet Frank Sinatra in heaven or whatever. Who would you want to
Oh, man.
like hang with?
I mean, there's there's like too many different categories that immediately come to mind.
Well, you have
now.
eternity, so
Right.
you know.
I would like to hang out with a lot of people.
So pick well, because you only get one.
I'll hang out with Robin Williams.
Oh,
That's because I always wanted to meet him. I never got the chance to, and he was really funny, and he inspired me to actually pursue this crazy career. So he's like one of the first that comes to mind, even though there's a lot of different talented and prolific people that I could choose.
I always admired Jim Henson. He was the one who, when he died, I was really gutted by that. Very influential, I think. Really fantastic dude. Have you
Yeah.
got one, Fiona?
I feel like Oscar Wilde would be a good time.
Yeah.
Like if you had to like spend like a lot of time with this person, like he would like make some good jokes, like you wouldn't be bored.
Though if it's his heaven also, he would be constantly having sex with young men. So it might not be that much fun to hang around with him.
I'm not like
Fiona doesn't care. She's like, hey.
I don't know. I feel like it might eclipse some of the witty banter. I don't know. It just might be.
Or would it make the witty banter all the more humorous?
Might be great. It might be perfect.
Be even better.
Well, with that image, we're going to leave you here, folks. In heaven, drinking cocktails with Oscar Wilde while he's buggering young men. Yay! Perfect timing.
I'm
Thank you,
into it.
Gabrielle,
Thank
for joining
you.
us for our family
so
style
where
podcast.
can we find you, Gabrielle?
Oh, you can find me at my very long name, Gabrielle _Dakessian at Instagram, or you can go to Gabrielle-Dakessian.com for my website. Those are the two main places you can find me.
You're not Uncle Gabs on any of those things?
Oh,
That's easier.
if you just look up hashtag Uncle Gabs, you'll find me.
That's good. I like the Uncle Gabs. That's fun.
Oh, yeah. I'm the only person that has that narrowed down.
That's good.
I like
my
it 'cause
own
it doesn't
hashtag.
make sense.
It's cool to have your own name as your thing, because then it's like gettable.
Yeah,
But Uncle
hashtag
Gabs is,
Uncle Gabs. Yeah, I don't think anyone else has done that to themselves.
it's easy to share.
Other
It's
than
great.
me.
I love it. Uncle Gabs. Fantastic. And then we're at Crafty Time. It's Crafty Time Pod on Twitter, Crafty Time Podcast on Instagram, and just Crafty Time on Facebook. And so find us on all of those things. Be sure to like and subscribe and all that jazz. Maybe leave us a YouTube, what do you call it, an iTunes review on iTunes, 5 stars. You know, we've got lots of other fun people you can listen to, learn about their creative process, even though we almost never talk about it.
We'll get to that later.
We'll get to it. We'll learn how to podcast someday. It'll be good, I swear. Be sure to follow us on Facebook at Crafty Time, on Twitter at Crafty Time Pod, and on Instagram at Crafty Time Podcast. And text or call your questions or comments to 513 Fart Owl.